What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Today we've got a cool video where the Hunting Public guys have sent over some videos from actual hunts. We're going to look at some real life shot placement scenarios, choose our shots, and then peel back the hide and look at the anatomy underneath from an artist's perspective to see how we did. So thanks to the THP guys. Let's get right into it. Okay, video number one. We've got Jake here, and in this video, Jake is actually above the cameraman. So the cameraman's on the ground, Jake is in a tree stand above him. So keep that in mind here. Deer comes in, relatively close shot, pretty much broadside. Pick your shot, and then we'll peel back the anatomy and take a look. Now, the first thing I'm always going to do as an artist and a hunter is I'm going to look at the near side legs. So if you follow the deer's anatomy, it's not too hard to figure out where these leg bones are going to be. And obviously the one that we want to look at is that front shoulder and see where that is in relation to it. So I'm going to draw the front legs in, then fill in the rest of the skeleton around that. And then from there, we're going to lay in the vital organs. So as we get into this, you can see that man, that's really hugging that front shoulder, and you're kind of gambling there. You might hit that leg bone or joint. C and B are both pretty clear of that, but as you can see, as we lay in the lungs, heart, liver, and guts, that C can be a pretty dangerous one, especially from an elevated position, because if you hit low, you're likely only going to get one lung, and that's always a tricky shot. So from an elevated position, you're probably looking at B as the best one. Overall, you're really looking at probably an average of the three and putting it right in the middle of three. So we've got Jake here again. This is a shot that we all love, close, broadside. The deer does not know we're there. Love to have this one. Pick your shot, and we'll see how we did. All right, so again, the first thing I'm going to do as an artist is look at this deer's anatomy, and I'm going to try to figure out where the joints are and then fill in the anatomy off of that. So we're going to follow those leg bones, drawing that front shoulder, rear hind leg, and fill in the skeleton. One thing here that you note is that spine actually dips and gets low before it rises back up and comes up the neck. So that's going to neck everything down. It's going to get tight. There's going to be a lot of bone there. And so even though B could get past the shoulder blade, the scapula, you're still looking at a spine. There's a lot of bone in there. A can slip right in there, and C obviously doesn't hit any major bones, but we'll see where the vitals are in relation to that. So based on the skeleton, here's where I would lay in the vital organs based on that. A is just a complete perfect heart shot right in the pump house. B, again, you're flirting with the top of the lungs and a lot of bone there. And C, you're probably clipping maybe the back of a lung and a liver. So while C can be tempting to get way back there, you're also starting to get into some guts and also some of those leaves from an actual hunting perspective. Some of those leaves and limb are going to come into play too. So as an artist, that's where I would unpack that deer's anatomy and put his vitals. So the other question is, how do we get here? Well, what I do is I'm recalling a lot of the life drawing lessons that I had in art class in college. We would draw from live models, and form always follows function. And as a human, as a deer, our skeletal structure is the foundation of everything that we do. All of our musculature, all of our muscles are built off of that. So what we would do in art class, I drew this one up here. This almost looks like a guy doing a layup, but what we would do is you're taught to find the bones, find the shoulder blades, find the elbow, find the kneecap, find the pelvis. Obviously, the skull is easy to see. Draw that first and get your proportions correct and the lengths of your arms and things correct, and then you can build muscles on top of that. And so whenever we would start out and rough sketch an anatomy, we'd always start with a skeleton and then build on top of that, and you can erase as you go. So what we're going to do here with these deer is pretty much the same thing. Now, this deer here, it's a well-lit side shot, which is going to provide a lot of contrast and shadows and angles here. And if you look close, you really don't have to look all that hard to see the shoulder blade, to see the highlights and the shadows where these joints are going to be and where they're going to come into play at. So if you really just kind of look, you need to look a little hard to find the back of that rib cage. That's a little bit tougher to find. But on a deer like this, if you just observe them, you can start to see where some of the bones come in, even on a rutted up, swollen up buck like this one. We're going to fill in some of the rib cage here, and then this will give us the foundation by which we can add in the organs, muscles, all that other stuff. So let's take a look now at this deer in real life. If I remember right, this was a hunt that Aaron had in Iowa, and they've already shot a buck. He's run off, and this deer comes in right behind that deer and gives them what would be a perfect broadside shot if they were still hunting. Let's stop it right here. Pick your shot, and we'll see how we did. Now, here's where I would lay in his front shoulder and near side back leg based on some of the highlights and shadows that I see from the sun as he's coming in. Now, you can obviously see he's got problems. A lot of guys try to shoot through that shoulder blade. That's fine. I tend to stay away from it myself. But one of the bigger things is as you get higher on that shoulder blade and the spine starts to dip down as it goes up the neck, you're actually running into a huge mass of bone there. The ribs are thicker, the spine's there, the shoulder blade is there. That's a really, really, really tough shot, and it can go either way. So I tend to stay away from it. B, it looks like you're in the clear, and A as well, but as we lay in the organs, we'll look and see what that looks like. Now, based on this deer's skeletal structure, here's where I would put his vitals. Again, A, B, and C are probably all, shots in the vitals, assuming you can get that C past the shoulder blade. But the biggest thing is what you probably want to do is you want to go in between all three. It's probably more of a combination right in between all of those three shots. So as this deer continues to walk, he's going to take a big step forward over this log. And I want you guys to see what that does when he steps forward, how that changes everything. So as he steps over this front log, he's going to open up his whole side to us. So pick your shot, and we'll take a look at that underneath the hide. Now, from an artistic perspective, this is pretty easy to nail where the placement of that front leg is. You can see it plain as day in the sunlight. As his front leg comes open, it opens up that whole rib cage, all of the vitals to us. And based on this, here's where I would put his vital organs. So right here, again, you can't really go wrong with any of these. There's no major bones. Again, you're going to want to go probably right between A, B, and C if that's where I'm going to shoot, because at a higher angle, you have to be careful with B, because that can really be one lung, or if you miss low by an inch or two, you're just grazing the brisket. Again, these are real life hunting scenarios, and they never work as easy as they are right here playing Monday morning quarterback on a video. So right between A, B, and C is probably your wheelhouse. All of these will probably get the job done, but again, there's always a margin of error on a moving deer, on hunter error, all these kinds of things. So I tend to play the highest percentage odds when I'm thinking about this stuff. So that right there is a look at some real life hunting scenarios from actual hunts from the THP guys. You can go check those out on their YouTube channel. But as an artist, I'm always looking at anatomy, form, function, all those things when it comes to drawing and painting wildlife. And sometimes those skills can come into play here where we're looking at a deer's anatomy. This is my best, guess representation from what I've learned and seen over the years. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll give you guys a good idea and hopefully a little bit of an educational glimpse into a whitetail's anatomy. So you can check out all of my art, all of our prints. We have a lot of work on YouTube and paper prints on whitetail anatomy. So check those out. You can see my work at ryankirby.com. Make sure to check out the THP guys. And I thank you guys for being here, and I hope you've had a great hunting season.